Good afternoon, everybody. You're very welcome to this enablement session. Turning your cost center into a profit center is a joint initiative between Salesforce and Salesforce Platinum partner PolSource. My name is Stephen Hannon. I'm an account executive in the Ireland SME team, focusing predominantly on manufacturing and engineering companies. So field service lightning seems to be something of interest to many companies. A little bit of housekeeping, as you just heard, we're going to be recording this session. Also, if you have any questions during the session, there's a chat button down at the bottom of your screen. The members of my team will be able to answer any questions you have during the session, and we might have a couple of minutes left at the end for some voice questions. So let's begin. The term digital transformation is ubiquitous, but it's traditionally focused on marketing automation, sales automation, and providing excellent customer service. And field service has been always considered a bit of an outlier for that. And many organizations find themselves still working with manual processes and even paper-based processes in some cases. But these organizations are now seeing the need to digitize these processes, whether it be to reduce the cost to ensure that jobs are completed first time or engineers have the correct spare parts available, whether it's to get the best utilization of the resources, or indeed unlocking new revenue streams, which is an important topic we'll cover off during this session. Or it could be just simply responding to ever-increasing customer demands. So whether you're starting off on this journey or looking to evolve your current processes, whether your focus is installation or maintenance or break fix repairs, I do hope you get really good value from this session today. To help with this endeavour, we're joined by some excellent speakers who have quite a bit of experience between the set of speakers here. In a few minutes, we'll hear from Avner Indursky, who is a solution lead in Salesforce for our field service product. He's going to take us through some of the trends that he and Salesforce are seeing in field service management. He's got some interesting thoughts to share. We'll then hand over to Ben Balassi, who's the practice lead for field service management in PolSource. He's going to take us through that connected service from the customer requirement right through to delivery of your installation or repair service or whatever it might be, and how we can maybe unlock new revenue streams. Once that sort of theory and thought leadership is over, Stephen Byrne is going to take us through a quick demonstration of field service. So focusing on that from a sales to dispatcher to field engineer on site. And finally, we're delighted to be joined today by Kevin Alcock, who's the head of IT and transformation at Bristan, who are the UK's #1 tap and shower supplier. Kevin has got an interesting story to tell on his journey before and after field service, what it's meant for the company and what it's meant for their customers in particular. However, we're going to start with Matt Hooper, who's an industry lead for field service in Salesforce. He's going to share with us some of his thoughts around the current challenges that we in PolSource are seeing out there with our customers, which will lead nicely on to Avner's session. So just to recap on the agenda, we're going to look at the challenges and the trends in field service management. We're going to look at how to connect your organization from sales right through delivery of service, a quick demonstration to show you what it looks like in action, and then we'll hand over to Kevin for his story. At the very end, we'll have some suggestions and assets for you in terms of where you can start and how you can get started in this process, and finally some questions, time permitting. So with that, Matt, I'm going to hand over to you.
Hi, can you hear me all okay?
Yes, indeed.
Good, excellent. Right, so my name is Matt Hooper. I'm the field service industry specialist for Salesforce, predominantly covering Scotland and Ireland. I just wanted to open up talking about some of the challenges or new challenges, I should say, that service-led industries are facing with the pandemic and everything else that's currently going on. So, I mean, if we took a look at hospitals or really any type of business, there are now new health and safety regulations to comply with, new government guidelines on things like social distancing, where you've got to wear a mask at the right place at the right time in the right location. And you guys as employers have all got to manage that and provide a healthy, safe working environment for all your employees. It's an added extra you've got to work into your day. The other problems we're sort of seeing generally in the market are lots of postponed service visits. So where customers are perhaps not open in the same hours that they were before, or they're trying to limit contact with outside third-party organizations, or even just because they've not used the particular assets as much as they thought they might. So they're pushing out those regular service intervals out into the future, which can put extra stress on things like the use of the asset or service schedules where you can turn up to a site and it's closed, meaning the visit is effectively wasted. Conversely, though, we are seeing in some industries where it is the complete opposite. So sometimes the asset is being completely overused because of the sort of semi-lockdown and potential lockdown we may move into in the next few weeks. So those repair schedules are being brought forward. There are more emergency visits, more customer faults being worked in that we need to try and work into in particular schedules. If I think about my internet, for example, if that internet goes down tomorrow, I'll be straight on the phone to the provider and finding out when the engineer can come, because it's absolutely crucial to my working life now. And all this kind of thing ties into backlogs. So generally, staffing numbers are reduced. They're either furloughed, or some businesses are sadly cutting staff to ensure their survival. Other businesses are closed, so lots of wasted visits are happening, and our customers are now looking for more ways to do much more with much less. So efficiency really is the name of the game. And there's a stat at the bottom of the slide here which highlights just how inefficient some industries can be. If there's 45% of field workers have wasted considerable time because they don't have the right information to get the job done. That's 45%. That is really high. For example, we have an experience where we went out with some of the line cleaners for pubs for pouring in the beer. The guy turns up to the pub. He has to go downstairs to the basement to find out what the issue is and which line they'll be cleaning. There's no signal down in the basement, so he comes back upstairs, phones the dispatcher. What job was I supposed to be doing again? I don't think I've got the right spare part for that. I haven't got the right tool. I'm going to have to come back another day and sort that out, which means pushing out further visits, or meaning that missed visit then goes down just as a cost, really, and there was no real benefit from turning up. So, all these kind of things can be changed with implementing a field service management solution. Could you go to the next slide, please? So now COVID hasn't really designed the way in which we work, but what it has done is stuck a magnifying glass over the industry and pointed out where businesses really need to focus their time to ensure they can give efficient, cost-effective, proactive service. That's really where we're leading to. More than ever before, it's crucial that engineers go out and fix issues or make the visits, and fix the issue first time in the first visit. Customers can't afford for engineers to go back to the job 2 or 3 times because of not having a spare part, or they didn't know they were open. It's the number one reason for missed and multiple visits across the industry. And as field service leaders, we need to be doing everything we can to anticipate the right parts for the job, making sure they've got a mask on site, for example, or we know when the customers are open is a really basic one, which we see all the time. And on the customer side, we need to be letting them know when the engineer is coming so they can prepare. And companies like Amazon and DPD have really set the standard on this. So you can order a pair of shoes from Amazon, for example, and you can track it from the moment you order it all the way to your door. But as I found out with my boiler installation a couple of weeks ago, they just said, well, we'll be there between 9 and 5-ish. So, if you can do that, you're really giving the customer an excellent experience on the first time out. But it's not only an experience thing, it's a massive driver for efficiency, because now we've got a high chance of the customer being in, which gives us a high chance of fixing it first time, which means we can squeeze more visits in a particular day, get more jobs done, and effectively more with less. And I think the final point I just want to know in terms of trends is we see a lot of customers now looking for new ways to turn what would predominantly be a cost center now into an income stream. Because of margin loss on the hardware side, you've got to pivot your business model to now look at things like, can we enable them to do upselling or cross-selling, or adding warranties while we're on site, perhaps a gold, silver, or bronze package, something of that ilk. Because the future is less about charging hourly rates for engineering time, but more about asset uptime, asset performance, the output, and enabling frontline sales to change what was predominantly a cost center into a profit generator.
Thank you, Matt. Ben, over to you. Or sorry, Avner, over to you. Apologies.
No worries. Hi guys, I'm Avner Indorski. I'm a field service management sales engineer in Salesforce. I have around 15 years of experience in the area, both as an implementer, architect, and a sales engineer. And what I want to cover today are, well, we have many fascinating trends in Salesforce. I'll try to talk about those three in front of us as the top interesting one I found: digital customer experience, augmented reality, and a little bit about automated schedule optimization. So if we can skip a slide, please. So let's start with digital customer experience. According to Gartner, by 2022, over 50% of field service providers will offer a specialized digitized customer experience. But what does that mean? We know that we are on a way there. We have the Uberized experience. We can talk to our service providers via every kind of channel: phone, email, text, chat, social media. Actually, even today, we can go through the entire process of a break fix without seeing any human being until the technician arrives to fix something in our house. So that can be entirely automated. But the next question is, so what? What's the benefit here? We start with customer satisfaction. For me, as a customer, not just as an implementer, I'm in control. I can get very fast response. I don't have to deal with any waiting in telephony or finding the right place. And for me as a customer, this is a very fast solution. I'm happy with it. For us as the service providers, we get much better operational efficiency because we're reducing the workload from our call centers. Our service agents can actually deal with the more important, elaborated, complex problems. And because basically we get much less calls like, where's my technician? Or when is my appointment? You can do and get everything almost automatically via web. You don't really have to do that anymore via phone and just get stuck in that bottleneck. And another great benefit, we have usually a very big reduction of missed appointments. So you're getting it online, you're getting engaged back through the same channel, higher chances that you'll get a reminder in time. And if you cannot make it, you'll still be able automatically via that digital experience to change those appointments ahead of time and again, increase the missing appointments, decrease, sorry. Can we skip a slide, please? So by 2025, over 50% of field service management deployments will include some sort of augmented reality. First of all, this is very cool. Just the ability to add an extra layer of information on what you see, on what you visualize. But it's not just cool, it's quite useful. Now just think about a couple of scenarios just to tease it up. A chief engineer is guiding an on-site, more novice engineer on solving a problem remotely. I don't know exactly which piece of equipment I need to deal with or what to do with it, but I'll just get my camera out, call my senior engineer, and there you go. In healthcare, it's something that we can see even these days, a patient getting in touch with the nurse in charge, and instead of sending someone over there, they're doing everything remotely. They can look at the same picture, circle it, get something more accurate through augmented reality, and eventually, if they need any kind of medications, I'm thinking especially around the elderly, using OCR that is usually on the same type of devices, you can actually read and search. We've seen a very brilliant demonstration for that with some of our customers. Again, you're going to ask me, so what? So we know immediately that this is serving, basically increasing the first-time fix rate. You don't have to send someone again to fix something. You're fixing it because you have the backup and support of the entire system, and you don't need to send that senior engineer to deal with it again or send someone else. This means that your utilization is better because you can do more jobs, more first-time fix, immediate increase in utilization. And I think that, again, we have to remember we're in the customer-centric era, so this is increasing customer satisfaction. This is, as a side result, also increases the employee satisfaction. You're doing better and faster, and you have all the help and support, you're less frustrated. If we can move to the next slide, please. Now, you're probably going to say, well, we know that we heard about optimization here and there in the last couple of decades, but by 2025, smart optimization, smart algorithms and bots will actually have over 2/3 of scheduling of field service. Currently, it's actually around 25. So by around 2019. So what are we talking about? We can see the improvement of the algorithms for optimization, which means not just the algorithm is working better, it can increase the performance so we can do more faster, and also we can deal with more scenarios. So not just the common scenarios that we have now, as scenarios that we haven't dealt well with before, like meeting reading, which requires a very unique type of optimization, we will be able to deal with them now in a better way, do more, do faster, and have a better impact on the industry. Again, I think that the benefit of optimization here is not in what we're bringing on board, it's just that it will be easier to implement, easier to use, and you'll get more value out of it. And again, when you have good optimization, your schedule is much less volatile. You're more predictive, you're more ready to what happens. It matches your needs. You're scheduling more accurate. Things are way more accurate and less prone to last-minute changes, and that has immediate impact on the employee satisfaction. We are not being sent from one side to another. There is not all kind of volatile situations where leave everything and go somewhere else. Now you can actually plan your day as an employee. That's a great thing to do, and you have less contradictions with those who schedule you. And again, the end result of all of this is, as always, increasing customer satisfaction from our service. And I think that this would be a good time to pass it back to Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Avner. Some great insights there, and very interesting the future looks. Thank you very much. Ben, over to you, please.
I'll mute myself. I'm going to learn to do that properly one day. Good afternoon. I'm Ben Balassi. I'm the field service practice lead for PolSource, and listening to Avner, similar to him, with 15 years of experience on the Salesforce platform across various industries and clouds. A lot like this slide, actually. So we know that agents and dispatchers, your mobile employees and your managers should have and deserve actually a complete view of the customer that they're dealing with and that you have. They should have full context into the cases and the assets that they're managing or dealing with, as well as access to all of the information that they would need to help the customer at any time, and no matter where they are, whether they're in an office or working from home or out in the field with a mobile device. Managing field service operations in the digital world can be challenging, with customers' expectations constantly changing. And as been mentioned already, we are in interesting times at the moment. So it's not only the customer expectations changing, it's also legal requirements changing and health and safety expectations changing as well. Field service agents and dispatchers and all of your mobile employees and the management team of your organization need to have the right tools to meet these expectations, to meet the expectations of the organization and the customer. And Salesforce Field Service can help your team increase your productivity, lower your costs, and achieve more positive customer experiences. And we're able to do that across industries. It's not we're not tying ourselves to one particular industry. PolSource and Salesforce have experience across a wide range of industries. So regardless of where you're from and the work that you're doing, you're at home here. This seminar is relevant for that. Salesforce Field Service allows you to book and schedule and dispatch jobs to the right field technician. And you can create work orders and track the maintenance and installations and have access to the right information in the field across the clouds. You just go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. The connected customers, we can enhance your customer experience through communities and various e-commerce platforms, and allow them to book an appointment or to register a case or to make a purchase through multiple platforms. And that will flow through the chain of connected departments and operations to ensure that the field service technician appears at the customer site with the right equipment and the right information. There are connected channels that allow the mapping and routing and the partner or distributor management through your back office from your service agent and your dispatch team. And it's just as relevant if your field service technicians are actually subcontractors or if they're working through partner organizations. We've recently set up Salesforce Field Service for an organization that has got 17,000 technicians who work for just about 500 different local installation companies. So they're not employees of the customer that we're working with, but through the partner portal, they're being given access to exactly the same information and the right sort of information that they need for their jobs. And we've got the client creating the work orders based on retail sales that they're making, our customer in the middle managing that, and having automated distribution going out through the dispatch team into the field based on the territory and the skill set that the technician has, regardless of which organization they're working for. So it's going to the right technician based on the customer request at the front end. And the sales and service teams are able to see all of the information as that's going through the chain of chain of operations there. So we can go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. It's important to keep in mind as you're going on the journey towards field service that your the experience that your workers have as well as your customers, and the various tools that are available through field service allow the dispatchers to see the information related to the territories that they're covering. The technicians can access their schedule of tasks and the information related to that activity. The activities drip fed into the system, allowing optimal assignment with flexible scheduling policies that you can control. And with Salesforce Field Service will continuously optimize the schedule as well. As I mentioned just now, we have skill-based appointment booking, so the skill requirements of the work which is being requested is aligned with the skills of the technician or the team of technicians that are going to be doing the work for the client. And we have the dispatcher console with Gantt and map views and real-time visibility into what's happening in the field, where the technician is, how far they are from their destination, how busy the schedule is looking, so that you can handle all of your planning activities with ease. If you can move on to the next slide, please. So PolSource is very proud to be working with Salesforce directly on the connection between the sales activity that Salesforce is eminently capable of and field service activity. So now we've bridged the gap between sales and field service, where the cost center genuinely is now an income generator. We've created a solution we're calling FSQ, Field Service Quote. So as the activity comes through the sales team, the salesperson will close the opportunity, will win the deal, will have the quote accepted. And there may be an element that the salesperson thinks could be upsold or additionally sold by the field service technician, and can highlight that on the quotation. When the technician receives that information and goes through the job, they're going through the installation and all the various tasks related to that, they're also getting a point of discussion notification as well. So they're presented with a piece of information that they can talk to the customer about, and it may be an extra widget or gizmo which goes on to the item they've installed, or it might be talking about the silver or the gold maintenance schedule that they could opt for if they've bought the bronze one. And the field service technician, often who is closer to the customer then there may be a salesperson or a service person, because they're physically in front of them, and can become a trusted advisor, is able to talk through that new product, or talk through the additional service, the additional maintenance uplift, and at that point receive the go-ahead and the acceptance from the customer, get a signed report which feeds back into the system, essentially as a closed sale. So it goes back through the order system as well. So we're closing that bridge between the sales activity and the field service activity. So a sale becomes an installation, which is an upsell opportunity, and that's being pushed straight back in to Salesforce and through the ordering system. We'll send out some more information about FSQ after the webinar. It's a real differentiator and a big step forward for field service activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ben. Much appreciated. So now we're going to hand over to Stephen Byrne, who's one of our solution engineers in Salesforce, who's going to bring some of this to life. Stephen, would you like to take over sharing your screen?
You just need to pass me the ball, Stephen. There we go.
So can you take over from there? Perfect. Thank you,
You
Stephen.
should be able to see everything, yeah? All good?
Yes, all looks good. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, great. So yeah, thank you all for coming today. We're going to show you, well, I'm going to show you some of the possibilities of turning what's traditionally a cost center into a profit center, thanks to our partners over at PolSource. Just very quickly about myself, I'm Stephen Byrne. I'm a core solution engineer here in Salesforce, and I cover the Irish market. And today I'm going to be walking through a typical field service engagement that you'd usually see riddled with manual processes and task duplication. And it's now all automated through Salesforce Field Service. We'll help bring sales and field operations closer together to create efficiencies and ultimately turn your cost center into a profit center. And how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to do this through our demo personas. And our demo personas are Cindy Sales, Louise, who's a dispatcher, and Alan, who is our field engineer. So I think what we'll do is we'll start our demonstration off with Cindy's view of the world. So Cindy is logged into the Salesforce platform. Like most people at the moment, she's working remotely or working from home, so Salesforce can be accessed from anywhere through a URL. Now, she's the account director for St. Vincent's Hospital here in Dublin, and it's her job to drive revenue from the account, but also ensure that they're delivering a fast, efficient service to what are sometimes very mission-critical hospital systems. Now, she's been working on a deal with Jane Doe, who is one of the procurement directors over in Vincent's Hospital. And I'll just click into the account. And she's hopefully going to hear today that there's some paperwork on the way around the final stages of the blood product storage deal that she's been working on. So here in the opportunity record, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with, we have a full overview of the account, and we have the amount of the opportunity rolling up from the products that are contained within the opportunity. So this is what we're talking about with the client. And we have the contacts that we're dealing with, and then we have the quotes that are already out with Jane, who is our decision maker. So Jane is, we're going to pretend that Jane has come back and she's given us the all clear. We received our paperwork and we're now ready to close the opportunity. So when Cindy closes the opportunity to close one, it's all now reflected as closed one, but what's run in the background here is a very simple process automation to take the products that were contained within the opportunity and create them as assets against the account. So if we are to go back into the account and we click into service, we can now see the asset that's just been created there for the oncology unit. So this particular asset, it's all been created. It's automatically set to a status of purchased. It has the warranty, so it's under warranty, and it's automatically populated the purchase date. So Cindy hasn't had to do anything here. This is all just a process that's run in the background from Salesforce's processes automation. So what has happened also in the background is when we click into our related list is we can see a work order has automatically been created. And this work order is what we've talked about. This is where we're going to start the installation process of this particular asset. So what we might do is we will now flick across into Louise, who is our dispatcher, and have a look at her view of the world. So this is Louise's home screen here. So she's logged in and she's just been notified that there's been a new work order created from sales. And this is where we're trying to demonstrate that sales and field operations can really work hand in hand and work a lot closer together. So she's received this new work order. She has all the high level information she needs to know. She's also noted that it is a high priority item, given that the product is quite a large item and it's been that's been noted on the opportunity. So that's automatically pulled across. So when she clicks into the actual, when she clicks into the actual work order, we can see all of the automations that have been created without her having to do anything. So Cindy hasn't done anything and Louise hasn't done anything. And what's important over here is in the details section. So it's pulled in all of the information from the customer 360 that they know about Vincent's Hospital. So it's pulled in the account record, obviously, the main contact that we're dealing with, the asset that we're going to be installing. We have the entitlement, which is the premium field service that's part of their contract. We also have the service territory, so where the actual unit's going to be installed. We have the type of work that's going to be done. So it's going to be an installation, and that's automatically going to put in a duration of 60 minutes because it's only going to take 60 minutes to install this item. We have a subject and we also have a description, and this will be pushed out to the field service engineer. I've just put some sample text in here, but this could be something quite detailed and that could be pushed out to the field engineer automatically. So what's also been created on the back of this is we've automatically created a service appointment, and this is, let me click into this here. This is the service appointment, so it's related up to the work order. Now you could have perhaps multiple service appointments being created if it's quite a large body of work to be done. But what's happened here is it's been scheduled and it's automatically being assigned to a field service engineer down here. And how we've done that is, and Ben has spoken about this earlier, is we're looking at where the asset's going to be installed, so what service territory it's going to be in. It's going to look at what skills are required to actually complete this work, and that is the installation work type. So when we define the work type as being an installation, we say what skills you need, and that will match up with the service resources or the people or the field engineers in the field. And it'll start to whittle down all of the people in the field within this territory who can take care of this body of work. And then the final stage is it will look at the calendars, and it will look at what the schedules look like and who can pick this up at the shortest possible notice. So you can see here, we haven't given Alan an awful lot of time. It's going to start at 4 o'clock this afternoon. But he's already been notified, and it's pushed into his diary, but he's also got a notification on the field service app. So what she's going to just do is she knows Alan Reed's going to be taking care of this, but she's aware that she might want to put Alan onto another work order later on this evening, so get some overtime. So she can click into the Lightning Scheduler console, which Ben spoke about earlier. And we can see here, this gives her a full bird's eye view of all the field service engineers, what they're doing, and how their schedules are going, who's got gaps and who doesn't. So we can see here that this particular service appointment is dropped in here. It's actually given us a violation. So it's saying that there's a minimum crew size, there's not enough resources available for this in this crew for scheduling. So it's noted that it's quite a large product, and it's automatically flagging it to us that we may want another person to assist in this, but Louise knows Alan pretty well and he's installed these things a boatload of times, so she's happy to ignore that violation and proceed with the field service installation. So what we're going to do now is we will flick across to Alan and we'll have a look at what he's just received. So this is Alan's field service mobile app, and this is what he's received. So he's received a notification in here about the new asset installation he has to take care of today. And he's got all the high level detail in here that it's been scheduled, who the contact is, and what the address is. So when he clicks into this particular appointment, he can see here it's pinging my current location here and where the location is of the actual service appointment. And it's really simple. I can, if I'm Alan, I can get directions. I can open up an Apple Maps if I want to get the quickest route to get there. And then down below here, I'm automatically presented Jane's contact details. So if I'm running late, I can give her a quick call, or I can send her a text. Maybe in advance, I need to perhaps prepare some PPE, or there might be some entry requirements, given I'm going to be going into a hospital, or I can send her an email. And that all can be done straight from the service appointment just here. Now, what we have down here is we have the asset service history. Now, we're going to be installing a new asset, so there's not actually a history of this particular product. But if I was going out and I was servicing something, doing preventative maintenance, I could be presented with the full history of this particular asset before I go out to it. So on my way, I can maybe do some homework. I can maybe check to make sure I have the right inventory. So when I go to the inventory in my van, I can see everything that's needed within Alan's van to complete the job. And then down below here, I have the actual line items. And these are the various different steps I need to take as the field engineer to get this particular piece of equipment installed. I also have a knowledge article as well, in case I need to refer to some training material. If it's quite a complex installation and I need to follow a manual, this can be presented in here and I can have a look. But clicking on the lighten button in the middle of the screen, this is where I can do some actions against this particular service appointment. So yeah, when I'm out on site, I can just very quickly hit complete work and it will just mark the service appointment as completed. I can check in and just say that I've arrived, and so it'll automatically update the time of when I arrived, and that can also automate a population of a timesheet, so I can make sure that I'm logging my time in the right way. I can also add a resource, which is sort of halfway down there. And so if I do require help, I can create another service appointment, which can align to another service resource or an engineer who might be nearby, who might be able to assist. And I can also go in and create a new opportunity, which I will get to further along. So what I'm going to do is I've arrived on site, I've met with Jane, and I'm going to just start completing each of these parts of the installation. Hit save, and the asset is now installed. What's happened in the background as well as I've installed the asset is we've automatically created what's called a maintenance plan. And this particular maintenance plan, the minute this asset has been moved to a status as installed, the maintenance plan will create work orders and service appointments for a time horizon in the future of your choosing. So if I need to go out and service this item every 3 months, it'll automatically create those work orders and service appointments that'll be relayed back into Louise, who is our dispatcher. But just when I'm here with Jane now, I've been talking to her, and I'm going to present the service reports. I'm going to create the service report in here, and I can then hand it to her for signature. So I'm going to stick in her name. Oops, Jane Doe, and I can just throw my signature down on the page there and hit save. And when I generate the service report, that's automatically pushed back into Salesforce against the service appointment. Now, what's interesting is this is our service report in here that we can touch on if we need to. Now, what's interesting is I've been talking to Jane, and while Alan's been talking to Jane, she's mentioned that they're converting a new medical wing in the hospital, and they're going to need to replace some old equipment in there. He's thinking, well, maybe I'd want to notify sales about this. So he goes into his when he hops into the van, he goes into his lightning actions, and he creates a new opportunity. So he's just going to call it new medical wing. He can set it at a stage, give it a description, anything he wants, and he can hit save. And what's going to happen there is, given that Cindy is the account director against this account, she's automatically going to be notified. This opportunity is going to appear in her related list of opportunities, and she'll be then able to call out to Jane and work on some next steps around this. So I will just complete my work, and I'm now ready to move on to the next job. So what we'll do is we'll just jump back into Cindy's view of the world.
Just 1 minute, Steve, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
So back into Cindy's view of the world, we can go back into our account for St. Vincent's Hospital, and we can start to look at opportunities. And we can see here the new opportunity that Alan created when he was on site, and any description that he might have given it. And hopefully what you've seen here should give you a good demonstration of how we can get sales and field operations working absolutely hand in glove. So back over to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Much appreciated. Yeah, no, it's very interesting connecting field engineers to sales. Thank you. Now, we go back. Okay. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, we can, yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Now we'll hand over to Kevin, Kevin Alcock from Bristan, who's got a great story for us. Kevin, over to you, please.
Thanks very much. So I'm Kev Alcock, Head of IT for the Bristan Group. We are the UK's #1 brassware supplier. So that's taps, showers. We have 3 primary brands. 2 main ones, Bristan and Heritage. The Bristan brand primarily sold through merchants, so the Travis Perkins, Wicks of the world. We have a smaller, more recently revived brand called Cascade for the lower end of the market. The Heritage brand is our premium bathroom offering, so it's traditional style. It's been through many incarnations over the last few years. The last 14 and a half years I've been around, but our traditional styles has won through, and we're doing well with that at the moment. So just as a little background to that, we are owned by a massive American firm as well called Masco. So we have to be doing the right things to make sure that we're reporting correctly for them. Okay, if you can move on to the next slide. So our challenge, we have a small team of service engineers covering the whole of the UK. Large areas, lots of driving. Unfortunately, because of that, they were heavily underutilized. So we were only getting very most 50–60% utilization of those engineers. We have very, very inefficient manual booking process, leading to a distinctly average experience for our customers. We would have occasions where I've put average, but I think it was almost we were aiming at a 2-day turnaround from if you have one of our taps or had one of our taps, you've had it 6 months, you have a problem. You might call us up and say that you have an issue. Yes, it's under warranty. We'd like to send an engineer out to come and repair that for you. Yeah, not a problem. I'll put you in the queue and they'll call you back. Oh, okay. Really, really poor perception for our customer or end consumer. And we listened to the feedback we're receiving, so we needed to do something. Behind all of that, the reason it was so terrible, we had a single planner, no resilience in that process or staffing. We tried to re-recruit, and you know what? People didn't want to do it because actually the process was so terrible, they didn't stay. If you can move on again, please. Our new solution. So we've implemented FSL. It's been revolutionary, I think you'd say. We now have our entire contact center booking appointments over the phone. So Bob gives us a call today. And instead of waiting 2 days to maybe get a phone call, we've now got an immediate booking, which can be agreed over the phone instead of leaving voicemails and multiple phone calls, multiple contacts. And people are really, well, it's what we expect. We're consumers now of digital services that really do expect that level of immediacy in the correspondence. For anything where we have awkward situations or VIP treatment required, we have an escalation team that can move. On the right hand side, there's a Gantt chart showing multiple engineers, but they can actually fit an additional appointment in as needed for those VIP appointments as required. The information provided to the engineer could be created in Salesforce in the Service Cloud by the contact center. All of that detail can be transferred out to the engineer so they know exactly what they're attending to, what the parts are, what the requirement is, and more importantly, what's actually been told to the customer. And if, I mean, I'm sure none of you will have done it, but I know I have, you're getting impatient because my engineer is coming up soon. I'm going to check in and find out exactly where they are. We can actually give in-flight updates now because our planning team or our contact center team can see exactly where they were, where they're going next, constant route updates. It's a massive improvement on where we were. And the one thing that's really made an enormous difference to subsequent visit issues, consistent information returned by the engineer. So we're seeing our engineers are now returning not just reports on flow rates of taps as they've tested when they got there, but actually photographs of work that's been undertaken and what have you for indemnity purposes too. So it really does round off any strange issues that may have arisen previously. What we have seen is at least 20% increase in engineer utilization now. Massive improvement. And the only reason that's not higher is that we still only have 9 engineers across the UK. If we had more engineers, we could generate significantly higher utilization again. And we've at least halved the reduction in time from call to booked appointment or to attended appointment, which made a huge difference. And instead of having that backwards and forwards and multiple contacts through our phones or email, we're seeing constant improvement there too. And have the next slide, please. Thanks, Stephen. From a lessons learned, one very important one: engage all your users early. The sooner they're involved, the better. And there will always be someone that you didn't realize was involved somewhere in that process, but is. Seek them out, find them. The one thing we did find was our engineers had a huge amount of autonomy previously, so they could actually move appointments around, and if they didn't like the way that it had been planned, they could move things. Some of our engineering team really didn't enjoy the fact that the computer says this is the best way to do it, but actually I think they've learned now that the computer is right. The planning engine is phenomenally good. Just listen to it and follow it. So I think they're very happy now. We work with PolSource for this implementation. Trust them, frankly. There was one recommendation that we were given relatively early on throughout the implementation. We decided to stick to our process and keep it as it was. Less than 9 months later, we've undone that and gone the way that they suggested. They were absolutely spot on. With large geographical areas, we were told you'd have large portions of the day driving. And they were right, strangely. We found that they gave us a workaround, and we now no longer have that, and that's further driving the utilization numbers. So we got one section of benefit to start with, and we're seeing a further increase now. Don't walk before you can run. Go simple and then move on. So take this in a stepped approach. We went into FSL thinking that we could do absolutely everything all in one go, take all the benefit from day one. You just can't. There's too many people involved. PolSource actually recommended get the system in, get it working, and then add the bells and whistles later. They were absolutely right. Very, very important not to walk before you could run. And finally, don't hold on to your current process. Challenge the rest of your business to adopt as close to out of the box as you can. You will benefit from it later. The simpler the process, or the more out of the box for Salesforce it is, you'll have fewer issues later. We had some modifications, some of which we've peeled away again since, because actually we didn't need it after all. But the simpler you make it, the interface is excellent, the system is excellent, and it really does drive an enormous improvement. I think that's it.
Great stuff, Kevin. Thank you very much. As well as hearing about the benefits of field service management, it's good to know that the challenges and the obstacles that you faced during the process. And if anyone out there can learn from these lessons, isn't that fantastic? Thank you very much, Kevin.
No problem. Thank you. One other point I was going to say, sorry,
Yes.
apologies everyone, I missed this. We are now taking our next stage in towards turning this into a positive step. So we're now using it as a forum for engineers to upsell, and we're even moving into extended warranties and stuff as well. Is our next stage. So hopefully in 12 months' time, I can come back to you all and say how fantastic that has been as well.
Look forward to hearing that, Kevin. Thank you very much. Okay, we are coming towards the end of our session, so I have 2 more slides for you. It's difficult sometimes to know where to start. So look, what we're recommending is before we start any planning, that we try and understand our challenges. Do we have siloed departments? Do we have paper and manual processes? How is field service connected to sales and vice versa? And what's the current customer perception of the service we provide? And as Kevin alluded to there, include all the teams that have a touch point with the customer, because everybody has a touch point and everybody's relevant to this process. Once we then understand that, the challenges, and have got buy-in from the various teams, it's a good idea to build out the goals for the implementation. And that can then lead to, as Kevin and Stephen and Ben alluded to, is unlocking new revenue opportunities, new revenue streams. So in order to help companies get started, PolSource have developed a field service readiness assessment, which does what I just described, helps you understand the current environment, where you want to get to, what the challenges might be to there, so you can start developing a plan. And we'd be happy to send that out to everybody on the call following this. So we've done a lot of theory. We've talked to a customer experience, and the field service readiness assessment is there. But getting up and running needn't take months. In fact, it can take weeks. So PolSource have developed a quick start package to help our customers get up and running quickly. Like Kevin said, start with the basics, start with the out of the box, and get up and running quickly. And then as you continue, start enhancing and developing the service. Thank you very much, everybody, for your attention this afternoon. Are there any questions before we wrap up? I'll take that as a no. And so with that, we'll end the session. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day.